So there should be a procedure you follow in selecting your suppliers, and these suppliers are selected based on balance of quality, okay, price and delivery. So you may not have to rely on only one factor in selecting your suppliers. You must look at the quality of the materials they are going to supply you. You must also consider the price of the material, and then you must also look at the delivery systems. So you must balance this. Don't only look for quality. Sometimes when you go for quality, you may have to pay for more, and then factoring the price into your cost would end up taking significant portion of your revenue, and you end up making less profit. So you need to also look for price, not just quality. Look at the price of the material you are buying, and then the delivery system. Some of them, they would consider delivering for you if you buy from them. So these are the factors you need to consider when you are selecting a supplier. You must also ensure that materials are properly received and inspected. So you don't just say the supplier should supply the materials, and when it comes, you allow the loading boys to carry it to the store without inspecting. You must inspect it well to ensure that it meets the rights or the procedure or the invoice you have given out. Make sure the materials meet what you wanted, you issued before they are sent to stores. And then you must also provide adequate storage facilities. And then regular physical inventory checks are maintained. So make sure that the materials are stored at a place that will not make it damage. And then you must also have inventory system that will check how those materials are taken off and then coming in. Then direct materials used in production are consistently price and charge. So you don't just get up, pick the material and then send it to the production for them to use. You must price the material anytime you are issuing to the production department. Okay, so that is where the methods come in, whether you use FIFO, LIFO, weighted average, or simple average. Indirect materials are correctly allocated to cost centers and included in overheads. You must also ensure you keep documentation, you have accounting systems and controls are well uh, designed and uh, are effective. Organized stock taking ensures inventory is available when needed. So that is why we have stock levels. You must always check your stock levels. So at what level do you have to order? We have reorder level, we have minimum stock level, maximum stock level. You don't have to wait when there's material finish before you now order for them to bring. You must have um, a level at which whenever the material reach, okay, um, whenever the material reach that level, so let's say reorder level, then you place the order. You know, when you place the order, it will take some substantial period of time before it comes. So you place the order anytime the material stock reach that level. Then it will take, you need to know your lead time. You need to know your maximum lead time, the time that it will take for the material at most for the material to come to stores. You need to also know your minimum lead time. So the minimum lead time is the time that when you issue, until those days pass, the materials will not come to stores. So you don't have to wait. You must ensure you do all this in the stores. Then we have so the systems you need to follow. We have purchasing systems. So this is a sample of the purchasing system, how it relates. So I sent it to you. You can look at how these are interrelated. So from the supplier, okay, then you receive the goods from the supplier, then the goods would, you need to also file the report, and then the report will go back to the supplier. So the system are interrelated, but every organization and how those they prepare their systems. But these are samples of it. So you can look at it and look at the lessons or what you can get from this diagram. You can also look at the purchasing requisition order. So this is the form you need to fill. So this is the purchasing requisition uh, order. Then you also have a purchase order. So this is the purchase order too. Then you have the bill copy of purchase order. So please, you can go through this. These are just samples for you. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the store's ledger. So the store's ledger is having three items. I can see four. So the date, we have the receipts. So this records what comes into the store. And the issues, this records what go out of the store. And the inventory, of course, is supposed to be the balance. So this is the balance left. So when you buy materials, so you record it under the receipt, then you send it to the balance, which is the inventory. Then when you issue the material, you subtract the material that you already have, you record it under the issues, then the difference left could be recorded under the balance. So this is what we are going to use to prepare the methods or the types of um, stores keeping that we are going to look at. Okay, so this is just an example of it. So let's look at the methods of pricing. We have four types of pricing. We have FIFO, which is first in, first out. LIFO, which is last, first out. And simple average, weighted average. Okay, so please, what is FIFO? What is FIFO? You want me to mention names?
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So please, this method is where the first item purchased or produced are first to be sold out. They are the first ones to be sold out, and the older stock is used or sold first. So let's say you purchase or you buy an item, let's say on Monday, that's 100 items on Monday. Maybe each one will go for 10 cedis. Then you buy 100 items at 12 cedis on Wednesday. So you said that you sell 100 items on Friday using the people. The cost of the 100 items sold will be calculated using Monday purchase price. That is the 10 cedis.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so first in, first out, as is explained. The item that come, the item that comes first will be the first thing to be sold in that order. So if you buy 5 items and you are making the first sale, the first item you bought in that order will have to go out before the second item. So this is the method you use. So first in, first out. Okay. So what are the advantages of following FIFO method? Here it is simple to understand and easy to operate. You just keep the records. Which item came first? So that item will have to be issued to the production. So here we are issuing. We are not talking about selling. We are actually in a production company. So you issue to production. But in the same vein, if you are even selling, you can equally use FIFO method. You go to provision store, you have the same item. Let's say you have Milo bought on different days. So if someone comes to buy, you just go and pick the Milo that is old, the oldest among them, and give it to the person. You don't give what you just bought yesterday. So it is simple to understand and easy to operate. It is based on logical and sound principle that materials are issued in order of purchase. The closing stock is valued at a more recent price. Yes. So at the end of the day, you want to know what is left in the stores. You value it based on the recent price. So the amount you bought yesterday is what you are going to use to value yesterday's item. The materials are priced at actual cost, hence no unrealized profits or losses arises. So the unrealized profit comes in when you were thinking that you are actually going to make profit, you added profit to it. But the time you are going to sell has not actually come, but you are keeping it as if there is profit for you. That profit has not come, but you are keeping the profit with yourself. So in that case, you don't record that. And deterioration or obsolescence can be avoided. So those items that are old in the system can easily spoil. But if you are using a FIFO method, you sell out those items. And disadvantage is that we have it sometimes becomes cumbersome to calculate when the items are so many in your stores. You cannot even locate the first item, the last item, um, or the first item you brought in stores. Now, also issuing price that it doesn't reflect the current market price. So you are selling what is old, but meanwhile, currently that thing can be bought in a higher price. Assuming your policy is to fix 20% profit on it, you are fixing 20% profit on something that was bought long time. And that thing, in fact, actually the currently has increased more than 20%. This is the cost of that item, similar item, is more than 20% of your profit you are putting on it. So it means you are actually not pricing it based on current price. Now, when we also have deflation, when the prices are falling, but you are keeping that item at a high price, then your cost is going to be high. For instance, um, now the CD has started appreciating, then they are asking the uh, sellers, they are asking the sellers in various markets to reduce their prices. The sellers are saying that they bought the item long time ago when the CD was, let's say the CD is now 10 CDs. When the CD was 14 CDs, they bought the item. Now you are telling them they haven't sold the item. You are telling them to reduce it. The same item. How would that be possible? But in the same vein, they are also keeping the item at a high cost. So it won't be prudent for them to reduce it, unless, of course, there is competition among themselves, where if they don't reduce, they will not be able to sell. So in a case where they are having that competition, then those people will be keeping the cost at a high price, making them to get small profits. And if they don't take care, they cannot withstand the market. Then the pricing of material returns is difficult. Yes, we've talked about this. So it's difficult to price the profit on these materials. Okay. Now the final one is that cost comparison between similar job becomes difficult when issues are priced differently. Yes. So in accounting, we have what we call ratio analysis. We have to compare companies and see the performance based on this comparison. But if they are valuing the costs, the inventory, the value are different. So it is actually becoming difficult to do that because one company may be using LIFO, another one may be using FIFO. All right, let's look at this example. Please, do you have any question? Okay, someone should read the example for us. Hey, no one wants to read.
Uh, Part Part company Partco maintains its store ledger on the basis of FIFO method. Following Following is the summary of the receipts and issues of raw material during the month of April 2018. April 1st, opening balance 300 units at 20 Ghana cedis per unit. April 3rd, issues issued via store requisition number 014 150 units. April 8th, JRN number 007 200 units at 25 per unit. April 12th, JRN number 009 400 units at 29 per unit. April 17th, issue via store requisition number 018 500 units. It's April 20th, issue via store requisition number 018 100 units. JR April 23rd, JRN number 001 600 units at 20 per unit. April 25th, issue via store requisition number 026 600 units. Then April 28th, JRN number 012 200 units at 20 per unit. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Seems the network is stable.
It means if network is disturbing.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to give the requirement of the question. So you see, the question is not okay. Um, so here we are supposed to use FIFO, and the company is Patu. Okay, so we are required to prepare stores ledger account for Part Company Limited based on FIFO principles. Okay, so let's do the analysis of the question. I hope you can hear me now.
Can hear you.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. On 1st April, there is opening balance of 300 units at 22 cedis per unit. Okay, so this is the sample. So let me extend this so that you see. So this is what we are going to use to answer the question. So all the receipts will come under this. All the issues will come under this. Then the here will be the inventory. So always be keeping the remaining the balance. Okay. But as we issue, as we have the opening balance will be in the inventory. So the quantity, which is 300, will be here, and the price, which is 22, will be here. So when you multiply the quantity by the price, you get this amount, right? I know you know this already, so we can go forward. Okay, so we have the first one, opening balance, which we talk about will be at the inventory or the balance. Then let's look at the number of issues. This is, we have one issue here. Okay. Then we have goods requisition number, this. So it's, how will you classify this one? Is it issue or receipts?
So this one,
Is it
is it
issue?
the GRN?
Yes, GRN number, this.
It's
How will
receipt.
you, yes,
Receipt.
receipts? So goods requisition number. So
It's
here
receipt.
they are receiving it from the supplier. And then here, issue, they are issuing it to the production department, right? So those are the different. So this is also issue receipts. And so you can now know which one is receipt, which one is issue. All right. So on the first day, the opening balance of 300 times 22 will come to the inventory. So of course, it was received earlier than April. So this coming under this one, it is just something, but the right place for it to be is at the inventory. So you have 300 multiply by 22, you get 6,600. Then third day, on the third day, there was issue of 150 units. Now remember, how many units do we have in our stores before we can issue 150? How many units do we have in our stores?
Sir, 300.
300.
300.
Right. So it means we can issue 150, right? But we are not giving
Yes, sir.
the price. Yes, we are not giving the price of issue. So since we are using FIFO method, which price are we going to use to value the 150?
The price of entity.
Which price are we going to use to value?
We are going to value it at the opening balance price at
Okay,
20.
so the only good we have is the opening balance price. So we are going to use 22 to what? Value it. So we have 150 times 22, we get 3,300. Then we're having 300, issue out 150. So you are left with what? 150. Then the amount was 6,600. You issue out 3,300. You are left with what? 3,300. So it's the same price you are going to get, which will give you 22 cities. Then the following day, we received, or the next transaction was if we receive 220 units at 25 cities. So we are going to record it at the receipt column. So we have the GRN number, which is on if 007, and the quantity was 200. The price was 25. 25 times 200 will give you 5,000. Then we are carrying the same thing to inventory because we are using FIFO method. We will keep it so that we will know how much we have received, so that when we are issuing, we know the price we are going to. So repeat the same thing under the balance here. 200 times 25, the same 5,000. Then when you add 200 to 150, you will get 350. And you add 5,000 to 3,800, you get 8,300. So in your inventory, you are having 350 units, which is costing 8,300. So you cannot issue more than 350. You must issue within 350. So we'll see the next transaction. What is it? The next transaction is also talking about receipt. We are receiving 400 units at 23 cities. Then we come to the receipt. We have 423 price, and then we multiply, get the amount. We'll carry the same thing to the balance or the inventory. We have 423, and then 9,200. So we add 400 to 350, you get 750. You add 9,200 to 8,300, you get 17,500. So what we have in inventory is now 750, and then the amount is 17,500. So you cannot issue more than 750. So let's see what happened next. The next was issue on 17th. How much? We issue 500. Remember, we have 750, so we can issue 500 out. But the question is, this 500, we will need to use FIFO method, first in, first out to issue. So critically, you have to be careful here. You watch how much was. So the prices are different. So we want to start. Have we finished issuing the opening inventory? We only issued 150, right? Out of 300. How much was left?
150 was left.
150 was left, right? Please let us all participate. If I'm going fast, let me know. If you are not responding, I'm just teaching myself. I feel like I'm just teaching myself. Okay. So Okay, so 150 was left. So we must issue that one first. So we are going to issue 150. So the 150 was issued at was received at 22.
22.
So we are issuing it at 22. So 150, 22. So when we issue 300, 500, and first 150 is gone, how much is left? 350, right?
Yes, please. 350.
Now, but our next receipt, our next one, if you are using first come first serve, the next one that is left is 200 units. And the 200 units was also received at 25 cedis. So since we are issuing 350, we must issue that 200 out. So the 200 is here. The price was 25 and that is gone. So 350 and then 200 is gone. We are left with what? 150. Then our next receipt was 400. 400. So in this 400, we are going to issue 150 at 23 cedis because what we are issuing is less than what we have. So we issue out what we need to issue, which is 150, value at 23 cedis. Okay. So you will see that the quantity, so issue 150, and then we have the price as 3,004. So 150 is issued at 23 cedis because that was the value of the next transaction using fee first in, first out. I hope you are following. So that is it. Then if that is the
Yes,
case,
sir.
out of 750, if you issue out 500, how much is left? 250 is left, right? And this 250 is valued on the 400 price. So the 250 is coming from the 400 price. So we are going to value the 250 using the 400 price, which is 23. So this is the price, this is the inventory we have now. 250 inventory at 23 and it is 5,750. Any question from here?
Sir, can
Please don't feel like because your colleague is quiet, you too, you are
sir,
quiet.
please,
If you don't understand, let us know. You said
sir, kindly go over again, please.
okay. So I'll go over again. So we are using first in, first out. We'll come and use last in, first out. Then we'll do simple average. So simple average, you just add the prices together and divide it by the number of prices you're adding. The weighted average will not add the prices, we'll add the quantity together and the amount together. And then we'll divide the amount by quantity, we'll get what? The price to use to issue out. But for first FIFO method, we are saying that the price you are going to use to issue out is supposed to be the item that came first. So if that item is gone, then the next item is used to be, it will be used to issue out. Now we are starting issuing to the production department with something in hand. We cannot have nothing and issue nothing. So therefore, we need to have our opening inventory, which is 300 units at 22 cedis. Now this 300 units at 22 cedis will be recorded at the inventory side or the balance side. Then our first issue is 150 units. So we are issuing 150 units. Now this 150 is issued out of the 300 units. And because we are issuing based on first in, first out, the first item in stores is valued at 22 cedis. So we issue 150 by 22 cedis. So that is what we did exactly here. 322 is there. We issued 150 using 22. Okay, and then what is left is 150 is left, and the C is valued at the 22, which is 3,300. Then our next transaction is also is receipts. So we are receiving 200 units at 25 cedis. Remember, we have 150 units and we are going to receive 200 units because we need to buy something down before we go and issue. So we receive 200 under the receipt column. Multiply by 25, we get 5,000. We are carrying the same thing to the balance. Then we have 200, 25, 5,000. So if you add 200 to 150, you get 350. If you add 5,000 to 3,300, you get 8,300. So you now have 350. Then our next transaction was on 12. We are getting another receipt of 400 at 23 cities. So we come to the receipt column, we record 400, then its value at 23 cities. We get 9,200. We carry everything to the balance. Then 400 will come here, 23 cities, value at 23 cities, and the amount is 9,000. So we are just bringing the same thing. So you add the 400 to 350, you get 750. Then you add 9,200 to 8,300, you get 17,500. Because we are not using simple average or weighted average, you see there is no price here. If it was weighted average, we would have divided 17,500 by 750. They will get a price, we'll put it there. But we are not interested, we are not using that, so we don't need this price. Then the next transaction was on 17th. We are issuing 500 units. And because we have 750 units, we can issue 500 out, right? Now, in issuing this 500 out, you don't just go and take 500 out and then value it with one figure, because it depends on the method you use. If you are using weighted average, we would have just, the figure we would have gotten here, we'll just use that price to value the 500 straight away, you see. But we are using FIFO method, so we cannot do that. Then we must look at what is left, the items left. What item is the first thing that came? So the item that was the first thing in stores is the 150. So this 150 must go first. So we will take 150 out. 150, 22, and then it's here. So you have 500. So if you take 150 out, you are left with how much?
350.
350. Now you are supposed to issue 350, but you realize that you still have 200 units value at 25. You know, their value at different prices. So you need to use the items and their prices. So these 200 units that is value at 25 must go out. So we are taking it out. 225, then you get 5,000. So if you are issuing 350 and you have gotten 200, how much is left?
150.
So 150, we want to go and check. So on what are we issuing the 150? 400 is in stores and its value at 23. Now, this 400, we can issue 150 from this 400. So we are issuing the 150 from 400. And the price of the value of 400 was 23 cedis per unit. So we multiply 23 by 150 and you get 3450. It means at the end of the day, you are able to issue all the 500 out. Then if that is the case, how much is left in the stores? You remember, it is this 400 that you issued 150 from. So if you issue 150 from 400, then how much is left? 250, right?
Yes, sir.
Then how much was the 400 valued? Okay, it was valued at 23 cedis.
23.
So you are valued 250 by what? 23. This is where we ended, right? Is
Yes,
everybody
sir.
clear
Thank
here?
you.
Okay.
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll pick it from here. So we'll look for the next transaction. So the next transaction is 20th. So 20th, we are going to issue 100 units. Remember, we have 250, so we can still issue 100 units, right? So we are issuing 100 units from 250. So we come and issue the 100 units here. The 250 is valued at 23. So that is the 23 we are going to use to issue out. 23 here. Then the 250, if you issued 100, how much is left?
150.
150. Okay. So 150 is left. Then 150 is valued as 23. So we have 150 value at 23. That will give you 3,450. So that's the stock we have at the end of 20th April. Then let's look at the next transaction. After 20th, we move to 23rd. In 23rd, we are receiving 600 units at 20 cities. So if you are receiving, you go to receipt column and you will receive 600 units at 20 cities, and that will give you 12,000. Right? So you carry the same to the inventory or the balance. So you have 600, 20 cities, 12,000. Remember, you have 150 left. You add it to 600, you are getting 750. Then 12,000, you add it to 3,450, you get 15,450. So that is what we have at the end of 23rd April. Then we move to 25th. In 25th, we are going to issue. So we are issuing in 25th. Remember, we have 750. Now we can issue 600 out. So we are issuing 600 out of the 750. But remember, there is 150 that is sitting there before the 600 is added on. So the 150 that was there, we did not issue it out. It's the first one that will go. So we come and issue the 150 out. And then 150 is going out of 600 we are issuing. So how much is left? How much is left
450.
after issue? Okay, so 450 is left. Now 450 can be issued on the 600, and the 600 was valued 20 cities. So the 450 is valued 20 cities, and you get 9,000. Now you issued in total 600 out of 750. So how much is left?
150.
So 150 is
Which will
left in the stores.
carry out 20 cities.
Yes, also valued at what? 20 cities. So as at 25th, we have inventory in stores as 150 and value at 20 cities, and we're having 3,000. So let's see the next transaction, what happens. On 28th, we are receiving 200 units at 23 cities, 26 cities. So we come and we receive it here, 200 units times 26, you get 5,200. So carry everything to the inventory. So 226, 5,200. So if you want to know the total inventory, is 150 plus 200. That will give you 350. And then the total amount, 3,000 plus 5,200. That will give you 8,200. So we have 350 inventory left. So we can issue out, but no more than 350. So look at the last transaction. What happened? We are going to issue. We are issuing 300 out of our 350, right? 300 out of our 350.
Yes, sir.
So yes, and you know that there was 150 inside that we did not issue. That was the last transaction, the first transaction there. So issue that 150 out. And if you are issuing 300 and you issue 150, how much is left? You allow it 150, right?
150.
Yes. So the 150 is coming from the 200 in inventory, which is value at 26. So we value it as what, 26. That will give us 3,900. So 300 is issued out of 350. So our closing inventory at the end of that month is 50, and its value at what? 26, which was the 50 is coming from the 200 units. So its value at 26, and the amount is 1,300. So if you are using FIFO method and you want to know the closing inventory of um, this company using FIFO method at the end of April, the closing inventory, the unit is 50 and the amount is 1,300. So if you are preparing trading profit and loss account and they want to know how much was your opening inventory, okay, and how much was your closing inventory. So this is what you are going to use to know. So I want to ask, if you are preparing profit and loss account for this month of April, how much will be your opening inventory? And how much will be your closing inventory?
Now the opening inventory is going to be the opening balance.
Which is how much?
Unless you help me out, which was
It's 300.
the 300 series, the
300
300 quantity,
quantity.
which is 6,000. The amount.
So
Look,
you
it's
all
going
know
to be the
profit and
quantity,
loss.
which is the 300.
Hello, sir.
You all know profit.
Sir,
Yes,
Sir,
madam. Yes, madam.
the opening inventory is the 1,300, and the closing inventory is the 6,000. That's my view.
sir,
Yes, madam.
the for me the opening inventory will be 6,600. That is first April 2018, and the closing inventory will be
Okay,
10,300 Ghana cedis. That is
good.
29th April
So
2018.
good. So if you are preparing profit and loss account, normally they give it to you. You don't know where it is coming from, right? So that is the hell they go through before they get it. So assuming it's for the whole year, that is what they will be doing. So April, they will move this amount 300, 50 units, 1,300 to the beginning of the next month, which is what?
May
After April,
May
which month is
2018.
following? May.
It's
So they will
May.
do that for
Yeah.
May. Mhm. So if you are employed as cost accountant and they say your work is to do inventory, something, something, these are the things you to be doing. But it's not difficult because every day before you go home, you just do it. The following day, when you come, whatever you are issuing, you issue it out. Or that same day, if you are issuing, you issue it out. So you do it day by day, and it will not be difficult for you. It's just that by the end of the year, you have plenty transactions. And most companies, because they use the systems we are talking about, it's just the software, you enter it and then it will go to do it for you. Okay, so this is FIFO method. I hope we can move to LIFO method.
Yes, sir.
Sir, sir, please, with the
Yes,
amount
sir.
at the issues side, the amounts, the one
Okay.
highlighted, is it the total amount calculated or what, please? The
The amount.
36,700 Ghana.
Yeah, yes. Thank you for reminding me. So the another way, if you do this, then you can cross check, okay, to be sure that you are right. You can cross check. So let's start with the receipt. So the receipt is having quantity and the amount. So add all the quantity together, all the quantities you have received in that month. Then the amount of the quantities you have received is 38,000. Then you come to the issues. All the issues you have given out to stores, to the production, add them together, you get 1,650. You see that you have 1,700 and you issued out 1,650, right? So based
Yes.
on this one, how much is left?
Well, 50,000 minus 1,650. It will have 50
So
quantities.
it's low with 50. So that's why your inventory is what? 50.
Okay.
Then you also receive the amount is 38,000, and then you issue out 36,700. So 38,000 minus 36,700. Okay, what will you get?
1,300.
Good. That is why the balance is also 1,300. So this is just to help you check your calculations.
So, okay, I can't see the screen, but so when we were starting, we said with the opening balance, it's supposed to be at the inventory, but you brought it. Okay, now I can see. You brought it at the receipts. So that one too, was it
Yes.
added or not?
It was added. So the logic is that the opening balance is also a receipt in the month of April, but actually it's supposed to be as our inventory balance at the beginning of April. But because we want to tally them to get the totals, so it's when you don't add the opening balance here, after tallying it, you must come and add the opening balance again. So it is better you add it, you put it before you send it to the balance. Then when you are adding, you will not get any frustrations.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. The opposite is the LIFO, last in, first out. It also goes the same way. The receipt will not change, but the issues, okay, is going to change. So with the issues, the one that comes last, okay, the receipt that you have last, if you are going to issue it to the production, is the one you are going to issue first, and keep the old one. Okay, so this method is used mostly when there is inflation. When there is inflation and you are keeping the old inventory, you end up making supernormal profits on the inventory. Like in recent times when prices of things were increasing. For instance, somebody was having goods in 2020 and the goods was valued, let's say 50 units, 50 per unit. Now, fast forward in 2022, 2022, the good is now valued 150 units. The person refused to sell the good and still keeping it. And then 2023 or 2024, the good increased to 200 units. But the person sold what he bought in 2022 for 100 cities. The person sold it out. But what he bought in 2020 for 50 cities, he has not sold it. But in 2024, 4, the thing is now valued 200 cedis. So you see that the profit on the 50 cedis is now 150, right? So if you are using LIFO method, you get more profits, supernormal profits, when there is inflation. But if there is a deflation, okay, you if you are keeping FIFO method, okay, you are going to incur the opposite. So I think
So
you
let's
know
see the
it already,
screen.
so I don't need to explain. You said,
I said the screen. Let's see the
you can see
screen.
the screen.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
You can see it. Oh,
Please, I can see it. I can see it now.
okay,
So please,
okay.
we learned some of this before, but now we don't have much idea again. It's a long time.
Yes, I understand.
And we even need
Okay, so
practical
let's,
things again.
okay, that's fine. So let's look at the advantages. It is simple to operate and easy to understand, just like FIFO. Is it true? Yes, it is. It is appropriate for matching cost and revenue. Yes. So here, the cost, if the cost is high, you match that high cost against the revenue. Okay. Because for instance, what I just said, the revenue in 2024 would have been 200 cedis, but the cost is 50 cedis. This one is mismatch. You see. Okay. Now, closing stock would be valued at earlier prices and would not therefore show unrealized profit, just like the FIFO. It shows rare income in times of rising prices. It is good avoiding tax. So we can also look at disadvantages. Calculation becomes complicated when rates of receipts are highly fluctuating. Then closing stock are not valued at current market price. It is valued at rare and outdated what cost. Now the stock requires to be adjusted during falling prices. Due to variation of prices, comparison of cost of similar job is not possible. So somebody may be using a different method. Okay, so let's look at this example. Yes, somebody should read. I think it's the same question. So it's the same question we are going to use to prepare the LIFO method, right? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Inventory. So we have inventory 300 units at 22 cities. So we have our inventory here from the beginning. 300 units, 22 cities is in the inventory, 300 in 22 cities. Then the next transaction is the first issue of 150. So 150 is issued out. So out of 300 units, so we are going to, because that is the only transaction we have. So in fact, that is the last transaction we have entered. So we use it to issue the 150. Okay. So 150 times 22 we get 3,300. So the balance left is 150 and the amount is 3,300. Then we are going to have receipts. We are having receipt of 200 units. Okay, so we will bring the receipt of 200 units here at 25 cedis, and we carry it to the balance 200 units at 25 cedis. Then the next, so this one 200, you add it to 150, you get 350, and then the amount 5,000, you add it to 3,300, we get 8,300. The next transaction was also a receipt of 400. Then you record it under the receipt column. So you record it under the receipt column, 400, and you send it to the inventory column. So 400 adding to 350, you get 750, and the value to is also there. Now, the difference comes when you are going to issue the next transaction. So we are issuing 700, 17th, we are issuing 500. Now remember, this is LIFO, last in, last out. Even with looking at here, these transactions we have 3 receipts and 1 issue. Now, the last transaction for receipt is 400. So out of this 500, then you are going to issue this 400 out. The amount that is left is 100. So 100 will go to the next transaction. So you issue using this rate. So 400, we are going to issue 400 out. That 400 is current one, the last one, at rate of 23. And the 100 is left. 100 will be issued based on the next transaction, which is 200 units. And the opening balance of 150 is still there. And then the 200 units that we have just issued 100 units out, we are still having 100 units out. So this 22 and then the 25, the 22 is 150 and the 25 is 100, is there. So our next issue will be based on these ones. Please do you understand?
Sir, please, can you go over again? Sorry, but
Sir, please go over.
The screen also keeps going off. I don't know whether it's from my end.
It's all of our. The screen is not stable. The
Sir,
screen
please,
is
the
not
screen is
stable.
off.
Okay. So I'm sure you understood all the
The network is not helping at all.
sir, I don't know whether
Sir,
the
please,
network
your
is.
network is not
We can't
helping
hear
us.
you.
We can't hear you, sir.
Okay, so it's not from my end.
That's it. Mr. Dukoku. Hello, Mr. Dukoku.
Hello.
Please contact Doc for us so that we know what is going on.
He said he's trying to join. He said he was having problems with his network. So let me try and get him again.
Okay, thank you.
Um, I was telling you that you should give me some 5 minutes. I'll fix it and get back to you. I'm sure now you can hear me and you can see the screen too.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me take it again. So I was saying that for the opening balance of 300 cedis, it will be the same as FIFO. And for the first issue, it will also be the same as FIFO. Okay, so we have 300 cedis in the receipt column, which is our inventory. It's valued at 22 cedis. And then we issued 150 out of this 300. And we are issuing it to the last transaction. And the last transaction is the same as 20 opening balance. So we are using the same 22 cedis. Then 150 is left, valuing at 22 cedis. Then the next transaction was if. With the if, we received 200 units at 25 cedis. So as for receipt side in all the methods, it has not changed. It's the same thing. But it's the issue side that every method has the way it is issued. So the receipt of 200 units is still here. We will send it to the stores or to the inventory, which is 200 times 25. Then we add a 200 to 150, you get 350 units. And then you add the 5,000 to 3,000, 300, you get 8,300 cedis. Our next transaction was on 12. We are receiving 400 units at 23 cedis. So at the receipt side, we have 400 units, 23 cedis. That is 9,200. And we will send the same thing to the balance, 400 units, 23 cedis per unit, and then 9,200. When you add the 400 units to 350, you get 750. When you add 9,200 to 8,300, you get 17,500. And all these transactions the same as what we did for FIFO. Now the next transaction is the issue. That's where it will change. So we issued 500 units. Now, since we are using LIFO method, last in, first out, last in, first out. So the last transaction we have, okay, the last receipt we have was 400 units. And if we are issuing 500 units, okay, then we can take the whole of 400 units out. So we take 400 and its value at 23. So when you come into the issue side, you have 400, value at 23, you have 9,200. So since we are issuing 500, then we got 400, we are left with 100 units. And the 100 units is going to be taken from the next last transaction. So the next last transaction is on if, which is value at 23 cedis. And we are taking 100 units from the 200 units. So we come and value 100 units by 25 cedis. So it was valued at 25 cedis, sorry. So you value it 25 cedis. And then you get 2,500. So 400 plus 100, 500 units is gone. Out of 750, we allow it 150. Then the amount is going to be 150. The last transaction we have, the last transaction we have is what? The last transaction we have is what? So we took 100 from 200 and 100 is left. Right. Is that not the case? Remember the opening balance of 300. When we issued the 150, we are left with 150 from the opening balance. So that 150 from the opening balance is what we record here first. 150 times 22. And then the last transaction was 200 for 25 CD. We issued 100, it's left with 100. So that 100 too is also coming here. 100 times 25. And then it will be 250,500. So our amount left after issuing 500 is 250. But remember this 250, 150 is value at 22 cedis per unit, and the 100 is value at 25 cedis per unit. So you need to separate them so that your next issue, you would know where to pick it from. Please, do you understand what we have just done?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay. So I say it again that we are allowed with 250 units. But these 250 units, it is split into two. 150 is valued at 22 cedis. 100 cedis, 100 units is valued at 25 cedis. So we go to the next transaction, which is issue. We are issuing again 100 units. So if we issue 100 units and we have 250, but this 250, we are using last in, first out. So this 250 is split into two. We have 100 units, which is the last transaction, and then 150 units, which is the next to last transaction. And if you are issuing 100 units, we are going to just issue the last transaction here. So 100 times 25 cedis. So you get 2,500. Then 100 is gone. The only thing left is 150 units times 22. So 150 times 22. Right? So is there an error somewhere?
So why is it not 23 but why is it not 22 but 23 rather?
So that's why I'm asking you, is there an error somewhere? I thought you are going to identify something. So it's an error, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So ignore this because it's a picture, I cannot delete it. So this one is an error, right? So the right transaction is here. I'm supposed to delete this one, the whole of this one, and push this one to that point. So thank God the transaction, the right one is what here. So this is what we are using, okay? So 150, that is this 150 left here. Because it was 150 and 100. We issued out the 100. So it's left with the 150. So this is the 150 we are using here, please. I hope it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we'll go to the next transaction, which is we are receiving 600. So 600 will come to the receipt side, no issue. We are just going to record it there, 620 cedis, because it was valued at 20 cedis. They will send the same thing to the receipt side, the balance 620 cedis. So you add the 150 to 600, you'll get 750. They will add 3,300 to 12,000, you get 15,300. Then we'll look for the next transaction. We are going to issue 600. So here we are issuing 600. And remember our last transaction is 600. So we can issue the whole 600, true or false. We are using last in, first out. Want to issue the whole 600. So we can issue it from our last transaction. So we are issuing 600 by 20. Okay, that is 12,000. Then we are left with the 150. You see, the 150 is coming from the opening balance. Is this opening balance we are carrying that 150 up to 25th or something. So 150 is still here, value at 22 cents. Then let's see our next transaction. We are going to receive 200 units. So next transaction, we are receiving 200 units. So we'll have no problem with that. We just come and record it, receipt column, 200 times 26, you get this. You send it to the inventory or the balance. So 200 is here, 26 CDs is here, and you have 5,200. So you add this 200 to 150, you get 350. You get you add the 5,200 to 3,300, you get 8,500. Then our next transaction, which is the final transaction, is the issue. We are issuing 300 units. Remember our last transaction that we have, since we are using last in, first out, is the 28th transaction, which is we receive 200 units. And we are issuing 300, so we can issue the whole 200 out at the rate of 26 cedis. So we are issuing 200 out at the rate of 26. Then we are left with 100 cedis to get our 300. So we need to issue the 100 cedis from the next transaction, which is the 150. So we are issuing 100 cedis from the 150, and the 150 was valued at 22. So 100 times 22, you get 2,200. So the 100 is out of this 150. So the only inventory left as our closing inventory is the 50. But this 50 is valued at 22 cedis. So value it at 22 cedis. You will get what? 1,100. Unlike FIFO, okay, where we had 1,300. FIFO is valued at the highest more than the LIFO. So LIFO is valued at the lowest. Sometimes they can ask you to explain why FIFO is valued at a higher amount, higher inventory than the LIFO. Why LIFO is valued at the lowest inventory than the FIFO. So many times, okay, LIFO is valued at the lowest than the FIFO. And this is as a result of common inflation we are experiencing, because the transaction you incur at the beginning of the month or a year, by the time that period is ending, that cost will have increased. That is why you are valuing the LIFO at a lower cost than the FIFO. Please, do you understand the LIFO? What are your concerns? So silence means you all understood, right?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, sir, in the question, will you be asked to specifically use a method, or you can choose to use any?
you will be asked to use method. The same question can be presented to you, and you will be asked to use all the methods. Or you'll be asked to use two of the methods, and the methods will be specified.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we are using the same question for the next simple average. So with the simple average, as I indicated, you are just looking at the averages of the prices. So we are looking at the average of prices. Our focus is on prices here.
Set, please unmute yourself. Set.
I think I did not mute myself. Or can you hear me?
No, sir, it's you are okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. So I was talking about the simple average method. So that one, the focus is on the price. So we are just taking the average of the prices, and then we will use it to do the issuing. That is all. Very simple, right? So if I ask you, if you bought tomatoes from two markets, the first market, the price of tomato you bought was 10 cedis. The second market, the price of tomatoes was 15 cedis. If you are asked to use this simple average method to issue out, okay, some quantity of tomatoes you bought to your grandmother, how much price will you use to issue out to your grandmother? Did you get my question? Hello?
Please come again.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying that you went to two markets. The first market, you bought tomatoes for 10 cedis. The second market, you bought tomatoes for 15 cedis. You are asked to give portion of these tomatoes to your grandmother, but you must use simple average method to issue out the tomatoes to your grandmother. How much price will you use to issue the tomatoes to your grandmother?
You add
You
the
add the two and
total
divide by
price.
2.
I want to know the price that you used to give issue out to your grandmother.
The second price, is it 50 or 15?
15, 1 5. The first is 10, the second is 1 5.
Okay. 125.
125 what?
That would be the price. That's the average price.
125 what? Come again.
You are asking
So
for
you
the price. The average.
No,
is it 125 cities? 125 cities.
No. 10 cities, 25
no,
pesos.
Doc, it's going to be 14 cedi, 50 pesos. You are finding the average of the two prices, 15 plus 10, divided by 2. 12 cities, 50 pesos rather. 12 cities, 50 pesos.
Hey, you people, you have to be careful. You are coming to deal with numbers.
12 cities, 50 pesos.
You can't make simple mistakes. Then when you start with advanced accounting, you will die.
Dog, 12 cities, 50 pesos.
Yes. Because Afiba said 125 cities. And,
Cities.
yes.
I just mentioned 125. So
That's why I was asking you whether it's 125 cities or what. Yes, so please open your eyes because you are now accounting students. With accounting student, we don't joke with simple figures. Okay, if you just mess up with one figure, assuming you are going to use the average to do another calculation, and then you instead of 12.5, you say 125. You are going to just go out of GA. All the figures you are going to produce are going to be wrong. If you also use 14.5, then you are even dead. Okay. So simply, that is what we are going to do. So if, okay, let me ask again. If the tomatoes you have in the first market, after giving some to your grandmother, some is still left, and the tomatoes you have in the second market, you still have some, then your sister also bought some from another market and brought it at a price of 8 cedis. So if you are now going to issue your second issue of tomatoes to a friend, what price will you use to issue to the friend? I hope my question is clear.
Sir, please.
Sir, please, the question.
Have they used some of the tomatoes?
Yes, they have used some of the tomatoes in the first market, but some is left. And then the second market, you have some too. And then in the third market, your sister bought 8 cedis and brought and you added it together. You are now going to issue this issue these tomatoes to a friend who you are asked to use simple average method. So what price will you issue to the friend?
So 16 cities, 50 pesos.
If you say 16, you are off. Why 16?
So doesn't mean we need to measure the rest of the tomato.
You want more explanations?
Yes, sir.
No. We are not going to measure the rest of the tomatoes, but we must issue it out. So what price are we going to use?
So then that will be 10 cedis, 50 pesos.
How did you get 10 cedis, 50 pesos?
I divided the average, the amount that we got for the average. I divided by 2. Then I divided the second market price, that's the 8 cedis, by 2.
By
then
what?
I added by 2.
This calculation is wild. Your calculation is very wild. Why did you divide 8 by 2?
Sir, you are talking about average. So whether it's from 2 markets or 1 market, you find the average. So that's the understanding that I had.
But the 8 that you divided by 2 were from 2. Now you divided you divided 8 by that. Where from that? Because it's one price. 8 is one price. Why not 1 and 2?
But that is the total price for that from that market. So whether they are, if they are two, add the two prices, then we divide it by 2. So if it is one market, that's my analysis.
I see. Okay. Any other one? Hey, this is simple average. You, as the name suggests, it's very simple, but you are making it complex, right? The men, where are you? You don't want to commit yourself, eh? You allow only the ladies to talk. Let's hear what you will do. Mr. Ponsa, not Ponsa, Ampoma, right? Nelson. Do I know you, Nelson? You look like someone I know. Okay.
No, please, you don't know me. I don't know whether I have met you or met anything.
Okay. Erasmus. Mami.
Doc.
Yes, sir. Let's see what you have for us.
Doc, I didn't get. I had it, but it's like I'm a bit confused.
Why are you confused?
I didn't understand the question itself.
Okay, how many prizes are there now?
We have 15 and 10.
And I've added another one, right?
The third one, I didn't get a prize.
8 cities. 8 cities.
Oh, 8 cities.
Yes.
Wow.
So how many prizes do we have now?
We have 3 prizes.
And
so
if you are doing simple average, what do you do?
You divide by 3. So
Yes,
15
so if you divide
plus 10 plus 8, which is 33, divided by 3, that will give you 10. Hey, 10 point something.
11.
11, yes, 11.
Hey, you push it, be careful.
11, Doc.
Please don't just go and switch. I that's why I got your background knowledge. You all came from accounting background. So in as much as you've gone to college or university to do a different program, you still know what you did in SS, right? In accounting. Please don't come and bomb fast. So be careful with your numbers. You are in accounting class, so don't joke with numbers, errors in numbers, right? Because 33 divided by 3 there, you know 3. So work on 10.5. And you have to use your calculator. You can get calculator from your phone. So when you are on a Zoom class, you can just click and go back to your menu. If you are using phone, go back to your menu and use the calculator there, right? You can use it if you are not sure of yourself. All right, so you get 11 cities. So that's if you are going to issue it out to your friend, you use 11 cities. So that is what we do under simple average. So you can look at advantages and disadvantages. So we take the same question and see how we are going to use simple average to calculate. I hope we can go.
Yes, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So the same question. Yes, I'm not doctor yet, right? So I don't want to be like those people who are displaying the qualifications they don't have.
It is well. It is well.
It is well. Okay. So we have opening balance still 300 cities times 22, and then we have issued 150 units. So what we do is that the only price we have is 22. So if we are using simple average, what will you do to get a price to issue out 150? What will you do?
So since it is 1 unit price we have, we just multiply the unit price we have by the quantity.
What? No, you cannot just multiply like that. They should know the reason why you're multiplying by that. What will you do? You must do
And
something before you now agree. Yeah.
you must do
How many prizes are here?
it's only one price that we have.
So in simple
We
average,
have
what
only
will you
1 unit price.
so in simple average, what will you do?
Doc, you are going to
You
divide
divide the price by 1.
Good.
You
You
divide
divide
it
it by
by
one.
1 and you get the same 22 cedis.
Good. So that is the logic you do. You divide it by one, you get the same 22. Okay. And then the 8, we have received 200 units. Okay. And the 12, we have received another 400 units. But because we are using simple average, okay, we need to take care of that. So let's see the first one. We have 22 here. We are using the same 22, though we'll divide by 1, then we'll get it. Then as the 8, we have received 200 units, and then the price is 25. So we put it there, waiting for the next time to go and do something about it. Then the next day, 400 units, we have received 400 units, and the price is 23, and the amount is there. Please bring 400 units here. Okay, and the price is 23. That is a problem. So there is a mistake here, right? So note the 400 should have the price of 21 3. Now, how many prices are we having in stock which we have not touched? We have how many prices are we having in stock which we have not touched?
Yeah, two prices. That's 23 and 25.
23 and 25. What about the opening
No,
balance?
3
Have we finished
prices.
it? Yeah,
We
so
have
the
3 prices.
okay, which are what?
We have the 22 cedis, 25 cedis, and 23 cedis.
Good. Now let's go to our next transaction. We are going to issue on the 17th. We are going to issue 500 units. So in issuing those 500 units, if you are using simple average, what will you do?
So you add 22 cedis, 25 cedis, 23 cedis, and then you divide the 3 by 3. You divide your answer by 3.
Okay. So if you do that, what will you get?
I had 23.333.
23.333. Okay, so
33,
you
yes.
multiply that by 500 and you will get 11,666.67. Right. Then the inventory we're
Yes, sir.
having
Oh,
were
go out.
175, 750. And you issued 500. Okay. So you issue 500. So the 750 that you issue 500. How much is left?
250. It's 750 minus 500. So it will be left with 250.
250. Okay. So
Yes,
250 is
250.
left. So you value the 250 with the same amount that is left, which is how much? 2333.
23.33.
Okay. Now the next day you are going to issue again. You issue 100 cedis. So if you issue 100 cedis, which is here, you see the price there in the inventory is now 1, right? You now use that 1
Yes.
divided by 1. You will still get 23.33. Then you do what? You use it to value to issue 100 cedis. So 100 cedis is issued on that. So 750, 500 is gone, 100 is gone. So you are now left with what? 150. Right?
Yes, sir.
So the 150, how are you going to value the 150?
150.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 723.3. 23.3 by 150.
Okay. So you are using 23.3 by what? 150. So
150.
why you do that? What will you get?
23.3 by 150. So I had 3495.
3495.
Yes.
Is it only that?
Yeah, I multiplied 23.3 by 150.
No, we are using
Three
33.
Three,
It's
three.
23.33. Leave it in two decimal places because we eat
150.
pesos, 20 pesos, 30 pesos, 50 pesos. So we leave two decimal places.
three
But this,
thousand
if
four
you give
hundred
it
and
to
ninety
them,
nine
they don't take it.
point five.
Okay. So
Yeah.
3,499.5. You see, we have
Yes.
always be rounding the figures to what? So if you run it, you will get
100.
what?
You got 3,500 Ghana cedis.
3,500. Yes. So if you are using Excel will not run it to two decimal places. It will use all the decimal places, right? So at the end of the day, it will still give you 3,500. So we have inventory of 150. The value is 3,500. Okay. Then let's see our next transaction. We are receiving 600 units at 20 cedis. So 600 units is here, 20 cedis is here. We bring it to the inventory side or to the balance side. So then we have, we add 600 to 150, we are getting 750 again. Then the total value is 15,500. Then the next transaction is to issue 600. We are issuing 600 out. So if you are going to issue 600 out, we are using simple average, right? So how are we going to get the price for 600? Who can save us? Yes. Nobody?
Sir,
Yes, madam.
you see the first unit we have 23.33. And
Okay.
then the second unit is 20 cedis. So
Okay.
we add 20 We'll add 20 plus 23.333. And then we'll get 43.333. And we divide by 2. When we divide by 2, we get 21.666.
Okay, that's it. Well done.
And then we value it with the
Okay. So that is it. So the price on 150 was 23.33. And so we add it to 20 divided by 2. Then you will get 21.5. Then let's see the next transaction, which is 200. We are going to receive 200 units at 26 cedis. 26 cedis per unit. 200 is here at the receipts. Then we'll move it to the balance to 226. And the last transaction is to issue 300 units. Is to issue 300 units. Now, as we are issuing 300 units, we have 150 and then 200 units in stock. So what price are we going to use to issue the 300 units?
it should be. Can I talk?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we have the previous unit to be 21.50, and then the new unit to be 26 cedis. And so we'll add the 26 to the 21.50, and we'll get 47.50. Then we divide by 2. When we divide by 2, we'll get 23.75, and we value it with the 300 cedis.
Okay. Thank you. So at the end of the day, your inventory is still 50 cedis. And then its value at 23 cedis. Or how are you going to value the inventory?
Our inventory will be left with 50. Then we value it by the 23 cedis.
Okay.
Okay, so 23 by 50 will give us 20. Is it 23?
So the value, the previous one, it was 23.75. So I think it should be 23.75. Why 23? Or if we
Yes,
run it off.
23.75.
Was it 23.7?
Yes,
So it was
75.
26.
It's the 23.75.
Okay. So 23.75. And use it to value 300
300.
units.
We'll get 7125.
7125. Okay.
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 50 by 2375 will give us 1187.5.
You said the 50 will give us how much?
Oh, it will give us 1,187.5.
Okay.
That is 50 by 23.75.
Okay. So you can do the corrections here. The last figures are not
Yeah, the last figures.
so you can do the corrections. All right. So any question on this? If not, then we'll go to weighted average. Now, for the weighted average, here we are interested in two things: the quantity and the value. Unlike simple average, we were interested in only the price, right? The weighted average, we are interested in quantity and the value. So if you check here, so weighted average, we are interested in this value, this amount, and then this quantity. Our concern is not here. So we'll just divide this amount by this quantity, and then the price we'll get is what we'll use to what? Value as weighted average price. I hope it's clear.
Sir, please again.
We are interested in weights. So here we're just looking at the simple price, right? Simple average price. But with the weighted average, the last method, we are interested in this amount and this quantity. Okay, so this amount and the quantity will help us to get the price. So for instance, here, this total here, 8,300, you divide it by 350. So if you divide 8,300 by 350, what will you get? What will you get?
23.7.
Yeah, so if you are going to issue on that day, then you are using 23.7. So you see this one that will issue 500 here. If it is weighted average, we are looking at the last balance for the inventory, which is 17,500 divided by 750. So let's do that and see what you will get. That is what you use to value this issue. 17,500 divided by 750.
23.3333.
Okay. So that is what you use to value this one. It's by coincidence that is giving us the same, right? So that is weighted average. So let's go through it and see the same figures, the same question. Now, so the opening balance is 300. We'll send it there. Okay. Though if you are going to issue out 150, you just say 6,600 divided by 300. So you are going to get 22. So use that 22 to what? Issue out. And how much is left? 150 is left. So 150 is left, and then you issue out 3,300. Subtract it from 6,600. You get 3,300. So to get a value, you say 3,300 divided by 150. You get 22. And then the next day, you have received 200 units at 25 cedis, and then it is giving you 5,000. So what you do is that take these 200 units, come and add it to 150. You get it? So 200 plus 150, what will you get?
50.
350.
350.
You get
So you put it here.
350.
Then you come and take 5,000 and go and add it to 3,300. So 5,000 plus 3,300, what will you get?
8,300.
So you now say that the amount 8,300 divided by what? 350. Then you get the price.
Okay. 23.71.
Good. So that is how you do. Then the next day you are receiving again. You receive 400. So you take 400, go and add it to 350. What will you get?
400 plus 350.
750.
750.
750.
Then the 400 was valued at 9,200. Take 9,200, go and add it to 8,300. What will you get?
17,400.
Divide
17,500.
the divide the 17,500 by 750.
750.
23.33.
23.333.
Good. So that
What?
is you have. And the next day, if you are going to issue, you are issuing 500. Now you're having 750. So if you are issuing 500, you just issue the 500 based on the weighted average price of 23.33. Right? Yes. Then out of 750, so 500 by 23.33, you get 11,666.67. Then you have issued 500. You were having 750. Now you are left with 250. And this 250 is going to be valued the same as the weighted price, that is the 23.33. Then the next day you are going to issue 100. You are issuing 100 based on the inventory balance, the weighted average in the balance, which is 23.33. So you get this one. And then 250, you issue 100, you are left with what? 150. And the 150 is still valued at the same balance weighted average price. Then the next day you are receiving 600, and then at 20 cedis, which is 12,000. So take this 600, go and add it to 150. You get 750. Then take the 12,000, go and add it to 3,500. You get 15,500. Divide the 15,500 by 750. Then you get 20 point what? 67. I hope everybody is following.
Let's go.
Okay. Then the next transaction is to issue 600. Now you are issuing 600 based on the weighted average price in the balance, which is 20.67. So you go and issue 600 by 20.67. And you get 12,400. Now this 600, you have 750, and you issued out 600. You are left with 150. Okay, and it's still value the same price, 3,100. The next day, you are going to receive 200 at a price of 26, giving you 5,200. Then you add a 200 to 150, you get 350. You add a 5,200 to 3,100, you get 8,200. Divide the 8,200 by 350. Okay, you should get 23.71. right? Then you are issuing 300. You have 350. You are issuing 300. And with the price of the weighted average in the balance, so 23.75. So your balance for unit is 50. And then this 50, when you value it with the weighted price, you are going to get 1185.7571. So that is your balance, um, closing balance. So this is all for the weighted average. So with the weighted average, the focus is on the amount and the quantity. And then with the simple average, the focus is on the price. So with weighted average, the amount and quantity will help you to get the price. But the simple average, take the prices and divide it by the number of prices you are taking. Okay. So this is all for the methods we have to discuss. If you have any question, let us hear you. So you
Hello,
don't have
sir.
any question?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, this one is a request.
Okay.
Sir, I understand everything, but not everything. So I will plead if you can grant us another section so that we can have full understanding about it.
If I,
So I will go through and capture everything like you said, but if you can grant us another section of these lessons, I will be very grateful. I will be very grateful. So,
it's a dupoku. So are you saying that we should have another session where we have to do this again?
uh, for me, my network, my network kept breaking, so I couldn't grab everything. But I'll go through the recorded section and go through everything. So it was a request that if possible, you can grant us uh, another section based on your schedule so that we can get everything. It's a humble plea.
Okay.
Sir, please, I second. The network didn't help us today. So it's like that's why we are quiet. We are not normally like that. We contribute a lot. I think the understanding did not come at this time. So if you can
Okay.
help us in another session.
So I will be free on Monday and Tuesday. So if only you can fix yourself, we can do the FIFO LIFO methods again. If that's fine.
Yes, sir, we will be
So, then let's make it
have
on
been
Monday
saying.
because
Honestly,
Tuesday.
uh, we are doing our best to get it, but the network, since we are not a face-to-face activity, and then it is an online, and in Ghana, our network system is not very good. So it goes off at all, and then we try to get the network go off and come on, and it's not helping. It makes us being frustrated. Personally, frustrates me because by the time I come and join in, I'm confused because it's a calculation. You know, it's not something that we are reading. So if you try to distract you to go back, it's really distracts the class. So most of us, some of us, it's will be glad if you can set it and do it all over for us. And we know that you'll be glad if your paper we're able to do it and do it well for you. So that's our humbly plea that you help us. Honestly, the network has been a very tough challenge. So even some of us really wanted to ask questions, but since the
Okay, so
network
he
is
said we should
stable,
take a
we have
day.
to
He said
go.
we should take a day between Monday and Tuesday.
So Tuesday is being occupied by one of our lecturers. So I think we should make it on Monday. Monday.
Monday will be okay by me.
Okay. So now, are you suggesting also that since you are having network issues, we should end the class completely and then do it on Monday?
Yes, sir.
For today?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, sir.
that's fine.
That's fine because we are having problems with our network today. I don't know. Last week we experienced the same thing when we were teaching us. So I don't know.
So okay, let's
Yes,
know
yes, last week too.
what are your free days apart from Monday?
Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I have a class on Wednesday, so Wednesday is out. Okay. So I will discuss with the moderator and see what you see. So that then if it is Monday or Thursday, it will be after your class, or which time on Monday and Thursday?
Yeah, I think 6 or 7 will be okay.
6 or 7. So give us a
6 or 7 in the night.
in the evening, yes, sir.
Okay.
So we beg because we also go to school, so we beg.
Then we can still maintain let's maintain the Saturday, and then we would add Monday to it. Yes.
Okay.
So add a Monday to it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. We are grateful.
Thank you too. So please kindly go through section 2 and 3. So that when we meet, we can do justice to it. So section 2 and 3 is not loaded like section 1. So you can go through that. But we are done with section 1. Just that we'll go through it again our next meeting. If not, if your network were to be good, we could have done section 2 and 3 today, or section 2, so that when we meet, we will only do if we are doing repetition, that one fine. But if we are leaving and we do not do it, when we meet, it's like we are doing it fresh. If you are doing repetition, you get it more than if you are doing it for the first time, right? But anyway, we have no control over the network, so we can end it here and then we'll meet on Monday.
So the Monday, what time, please?
So Monday we can We can do it at 6 to 8.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
We are grateful.
Thank you.
We are grateful. We'll try to go over so that when you come, you can speed up.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, colleagues. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Please, let's stay and let's have this discussion before you leave. It's about the contribution for Dr. Patrick's brothers in order we all agree to contribute. You see,
I
the
said
policy
it, then
people
Yemi.
have. Hello.
Hello, you are listening.
So I was saying, Dr. Patrick's funeral invitation that he sent on our platform. And I think we all agree that we will be having some contribution towards the funeral. As it stands now, only few people have contributed. So I was asking, do we still hold or we are still going to abide by our decision to maybe have a little amount or a certain contribution towards it? If not, let's all agree so that I can send the money back to their owners. Or if we are going to do it, let's remind ourselves and let's start sending in our contribution.
Mr. Dupeku, please, you receive my within the week, okay?
Okay.
Or latest by next week before lectures.
Okay, madam. So this is a quick reminder. I'm just reminding you guys so that you can you can start receiving our money so that it can be sent. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Bye bye.
Bye.